Hey, what's up, guys? What's up? Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Daima Podcast. This is Mutiso, your presenter. I'm so grateful that you're listening. I'm so grateful that you're watching. This is the place of champions, so walk with me as we talk this talk. Stories is everything you need for a happy living. Daima is a think piece of timeless stories. Mixture of satire and humor into the Kenyan perspective of growing up, being Kenyan, and doing things as Kenyans do. Wow, thank you so much to everybody who is tuned in. This is Daima Podcast, and you of course know Daima Podcast is all about stories, it's all about life, it's all about things that we go through. And so today I start my first episode with a very sad story. I feel it's sad because it happened to a friend, and it is something that is affecting the whole society. And so I have this friend who happens to be a campus student like I am, and then we are so much friends because we grew up together and we have lived together for so long. So it happened this lady has been going through a lot the better part of the first quarter of 2020, and I actually didn't know what she was going through. It was happening during times in this semester where Corona came in. So it happens that this lady got pregnant, and the pregnancy was so unexpected. And then she had this boyfriend who didn't care, this boyfriend who didn't give a fuck about it. And so when it happened, she decided to own it. She decided to accept the pregnancy and keep it. So things were so rough on her. I remember we were talking before the semester began. That was in January. And when the semester began, we talked for the first few weeks. Then we lost contact, we lost touch. And I didn't know what was really happening to her life. I didn't know what was really going through. She was really going through, and And upon my realization, it was so late because everything had happened, but then we thank God because she came out of her situation. So when she got pregnant, she accepted the kid and she accepted to keep this pregnancy. And then it was 3 months old when everything went south, because I remember she tells me that in the 3rd month, she got a miscarriage, and this miscarriage really brought her down. This miscarriage really traumatized her because she had accepted this kid. She had decided to give birth to this kid. She had even prepared a name for this kid, and she was even preparing to move out from where she stayed so that she would wait for this kid. And so when she miscarried this kid, she turned into drugs. She started attempting suicide. She started having attempts on her life. I remember she was telling me that she started using these painkillers that were so hard on her that she would even sleep for 3 days. She would sleep for a whooping 3 days without waking up. And that moment when she woke up, it was like, wow, what happened? I've been asleep for 3 days. I've not eaten. I've not taken any water. I've not taken anything, but I'm still alive. And I thought the last time I took these pills, I was just dead. And that is when she realized that it is not as easy to let go. It's not as easy to take a life. And she realized that she was not meant to die, and she was meant to live and maybe achieve something in her life. And so she decided to take a turn. And this turning point was so funny because she tells me she discussed this with a close confidant. And when she discussed this with her confidant, the confidant told her that she has to move on because it has happened. And then she decided to get back to hit the gym, to get her body back to shape and to detox, And she quit every drug. She was doing weed, liquor, everything. And at that point when she's telling me this story, she is having this smile in her face while still crying and telling me that, Mutiso, I realized that in this life, everything we are going through has an impact on us in one way or another, because she tells me she was in this love love thing, relationship thing, but then she was so blinded that she didn't notice this boyfriend was not for her. And she didn't even realize when the pregnancy was coming and everything was happening so fast. And when she got out of this situation, she tells me she realized that every day we go by, we are always okay, but then we never know when we are getting into the ditch of depression. We never know when we are ditching ourselves into suicidal thoughts. We never know when we are ditching ourselves into thoughts of taking that rat cat and that red cat and drink it up and die, because it's not as easy to identify. And so today I just want to talk about mental health and just say that if you're out there and you're facing some difficult time, don't sit down and sob. Don't sit down and get discouraged. Don't sit down and overthink the situation. Just do this. Make sure you have a hobby. Make sure you speak to someone. Make sure you're always speaking to someone. Make sure you don't sit down to ask yourself why it is happening to you, but at least ask yourself, how did it happen to you? At least we can solve something from where it began. And then finally, always remember that you're a champion. When you're out there and you're listening to this podcast, you're watching this podcast, just make sure you remember that we are all champions. And in this podcast, we talk about things that will make us champions. We talk about experiences that will encourage us. And always remember that every experience you have been through and every experience that is you're going through right now, it will reflect to your better self in years to come, and you will sit back, look at it, maybe laugh, maybe cry, maybe regret a bit, but then at the end of the day, it will have shaped you up to what you are right now. And so for everyone who is watching, to everyone who is listening, thank you so much. This is Daima Podcast. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification button. Make sure you like and make sure you share this page. Thank you so much. God bless you.